Thank you for staying with us. Now let's begin with administration of justice in Nigeria. It is said that justice delayed is justice denied, but the miscarriage of justice is even more dangerous. More than 100 concerned Nigerians have signed a petition demanding justice and transparency in the ongoing presidential election petitions tribunal as judgment looms. A petition initiated by the Coalition of Concerned Nigerians and addressed to several justices highlights the anxiety felt by some electorate. Also, the petitioners call on the justices to be mindful of opinions of international community on the election while adjudicating based on the evidence presented before the tribunal. Gentlemen, let me go with Dari. I mean, over 2 weeks after all parties made their final arguments in the petition, is this apprehension justified?
No, there is nothing wrong in people being apprehensive while we await a major judgment as this. And I think commentators, either on or offline, should stop whipping up certain sentiments. To begin to talk about this apprehension as if it is peculiar to a particular school of thought, or as if it is actually being championed by people who hold a particular position, is wrong. I'm also apprehensive. I want judgment. I want judgment done, and I want it to be seen to have been done. You cannot begin to guess what I mean by judgment and begin to use my own position to determine the entire shade of apprehension. No. Everybody, those who are happy with the result of the last presidential election, those who are unhappy, those who sat on the fence, those who are not even concerned, we are all apprehensive. You know why? Because this judgment will mark the end of was it, wasn't it, on that matter. Yeah. Then this judgment will also make the government sit tight and run the government for which they have been elected. It is going to be an end to a lot of things and the beginning to equally a lot of things. This is why nobody should begin to tag the apprehension to mean being for or against. That's where I begin to wonder why we are like this. No. We must not shade opinions. That I don't agree with you should not mean that at all times you are on that side of the fence. No. Sometimes we may just meet. That is one perception to it. The second one is those who are asking for the court, our own Supreme Court now, to please ask for the opinion of international committee. I disagree. We have a court. We have a process. If it is within their process to seek the opinion of international committee, fine. I guess and I believe they would have done that. If it is not, we can't begin to change the goalpost now. I don't know whether it is or it is not. That's why I'm explaining this. But we should not begin because we are entitled to our opinion, because we are free to express how we feel, because it is our right to be apprehensive. We now begin to sort of browbeat the judiciary. No. We must equally allow the judiciary to do its work, and we must make them feel safe doing that work we have entrusted to them. When we begin to send insinuations that make it look like, look, we know what you want to do and we will go against it, then you are standing up against justice. You are standing up against fairness. How do you begin to assume that this is the way they want to go and your thoughts are this way, and therefore you already want to tag them with a tar brush of being unfair? No, that's not part of being apprehensive. Being apprehensive is wishing, hoping, praying that justice will be done.
All right.
To be seen to have been done.
All right, so Dr. I mean, after all, the tribunal is expected to deliver judgment on or before September 16. So, like I asked Dari, is this apprehension justified?
Well, I think since the days we realized that judgments in political cases are not strictly on the face of law. That sometimes public perception and opinion will count. Since those days, we've been all out trying to use the media, whether social or traditional, to talk to the judges and justices handling these cases. It's normal. It's nothing strange. If I feel that speaking out will help my case, why not? What stops me? It's a free world. But threats should be what we should watch very closely, where it is becoming like, if you don't allow this to go my way, I'm going to make the country ungovernable. That's where we should begin to draw the line. We've seen a lot of things in the media of recent. Some said former Minister Babatunde Raji Fashola, also former governor of Lagos State, was writing the judgment. Some said Justice Mary Odili was behind it. All sorts of permutation. And such realm of speculations can be allowed. You can say whatever you like, though it is not right. Because if you are so sure of yourself, don't come as a faceless group. Come out as an individual or as an identifiable body and make it so that all of these people can sue you if they are sure of themselves that they are not writing the judgments, not coming via social media publications and all the rest. Because that puts a lot of pressure on not just the judiciary, but on the country as a whole. Because nobody is sure of what is going to happen if this judgment does not go in a particular direction. And that is wrong. We've been having judgments on presidential elections in this country for so long. We've had the 12th to 3rd in the era of the National Party of Nigeria and Unity Party of Nigeria, and the country did not burn. It didn't go up in flames. So we should be careful so that we don't poison the minds of people against the judiciary. We've always said it. That arm of government is the last hope of the common man.
Absolutely.
Once we lose it with them, then...
All right. BKO, how do you react to this? I mean, is this really the case of, if you do not trust the judiciary, why go to court?
I think that where people are confident that the judiciary will deliver the goods, that the judiciary will get the job done. What we've been seeing in the last few weeks would not have been happening. There is no need erecting billboards saying all eyes on the judiciary. There is no need putting the address of a place where one of the daughters of the judges earns a living on social media as a means of frightening her entire family. I mean, these are totally irresponsible things, unheard of in our country. And asking the judiciary or the courts to bear in mind what the international community or a section of the international community said about our elections, again, makes absolutely no sense. What is supposed to determine how the judges will come to their conclusions is the evidence put forward before the tribunal, not what people out there are saying. How many international observers, for example, came to our country? less than 100 international observers from the EU observed the election in our country, less than 100. And we are talking about more than 170,000 polling centers. So 100 persons are certainly not enough. And we are saying they are not even up to 100. The EU observers are certainly not enough to assess how the election went in totality. So I see no need for these apprehensions because they are apprehensions. We are supposed to be calm. We are supposed to simply wait for the judiciary to determine the winner of the election. All of what we are saying, claiming that all the necessary evidence was provided for, no, we don't need these things. Once you go before the tribunal or before the judiciary, you must be ready to accept its verdict. You must invest your entire hope on the judiciary. You must trust the judiciary to do its work. And we've seen the judiciary deliver judgment, many cases, even against the run of play, against the ruling party on a number of occasions. There is no need for the apprehension that is in the air. There is absolutely no need for it. There's no need for it. What we see is the result of apprehension, nothing else. If you read the story completely and not just busy yourself with the headline and a few paragraphs, you will see clearly that there is apprehension. You see clearly that some people expect the judgment to go along a particular line. It is not your place to expect the judgment to go in a particular line. You are not the judiciary. Let the judiciary exercise its mandate. And its mandate is to look at the totality of the evidence before it and come to its conclusion. A retired Chief Justice of the Federation once said that evidence is like building a house. If you do not provide the necessary material, the building will collapse. So if you come before a court and you fail to provide all of the evidence needed to enable you win the case, you are going to lose. So this matter will be decided in the final analysis based on the quantum of evidence available to those judges to work on. It's not going to be decided based on saber rattling, based on head banging on the wall, based on sentiment, based on what some of our friends in the international community are saying. That's not what will determine how this matter will be judged. Nigerians should go home, rest, assured that this same judiciary that has been the last hope of the common man and has delivered the goods on so many occasions will get the job done this time around. No one is saying the judiciary is perfect. Of course, they are human beings. We've seen even in the US somebody convicted to die only for them to discover many years after that the man committed no crime. We've seen people in the US sentenced to life imprisonment only to determine more than 20 years after that the person was framed. So the judiciary in anywhere in the world is not perfect, but it remains the last hope of the common man. Let Nigerians invest their hope in that last hope of the common man, believing that in their final analysis, it will give the right judgment, and that right judgment would mean that it is the person who deserved to win the election that won it. And that is what we want to see, nothing short of that.
Thank you, Bikio. Well said, gentlemen. Let's get to